You join me today with my 1948 Alvis, and I'm having great difficulty with this pipe here. It's got a heater feed which leaks. This tube was completely knackered some time ago, managed to replace that. And then there's another tube which is connected at the back here and runs around the front. You can just see my finger, and disappears across the front of the engine and goes to the thermostat. And unfortunately, you can just see on the top of the nut under here, it's leaking because it's gone through. So this nut here, where my finger is here, it's catching on the nut and is worn through, and it's really soft and horrible and not very good. The whole pipe really is knackered. So I need to take this off, measure it up, and see if I can make a new one. These are not available, not really, through most of the sources. So I've got to match the curves and get the pipe to fit around the fan belt. First job is to drain the system. I have this bit of 22mm pipe with a carefully sized washer jammed in the end, which fits really nicely over the drain plug of the radiator and allows the water to drain straight down rather than all over the front end of the engine. So this is the existing pipe, but these are the originals. This has been heavily patched up and it keeps weeping on the back edge here, and it weeps round here. It's had a lot of work here, which isn't really that satisfactory. You can see the end of the pipe's a bit crusty, and this end has already been patched up as well. I'm going to heat this up and form it into this shape in the forge. I'm going to cut a new piece of this, and I'm going to find a new pipe to go on there. The tubes were heated up in the forge in order to bend them nicely. So this is the original transfer pipe I'm trying to replace, and I've used a forge to make these two pipes and this one. This one's relatively thin walled, and unfortunately I couldn't get away without a little crease on the inside of one of the curves, but the other one's pretty good, and this one went pretty well. I'm quite happy with this, but this one, as you can see, is quite a thick walled tube. It's actually a bit of air pipe taken from my airline system as an offcut. I've also got a fairly large bit of gas pipe which I'm going to cut here, and that will replace this bit. This bit's already new, but I don't want to cut this pipe up. So I've used a 22mm hole saw, which is just slightly bigger than my airline pipe, to make that fit in there. So I put the rubber temporarily back on and cut this pipe to size, and I put the belt back on the pulleys so that I know where the fan belt goes exactly. So on this side you can see the pipe will come round quite nicely and misses the fan belt nicely, misses the pulley, gives enough clearance for the fan, and my cut pipe will fit on there quite happily. So there's the pipe lined up with the top feed here. You can see it's quite a decent fit, and I've still got clearance here, and crucially I've got clearance over that rusty nut there, which is where it was rubbing and leaking before. So now here I need to get the water outlet in to supply the heater. So these are the pipes all in. I've got to weld this here, and I've got to weld that here. This pipe here is the heater feed, and this is non-original, but I'm going to straighten that so that the feed's a bit further, gets it a bit further away from the exhaust as well, which would be great. So here's the bit tacked together. So I've tacked this in situ. I've now got to weld it properly. So here's the replacement pipe fitted. There's actually quite good clearance around the fan, and the pipe has plenty of clearance over that bolt, which was causing the issue before. The two main radiator hoses fit quite nicely, and the steel pipe to feed the heater with the car back together and water in the system, and the heater reconnected along this straighter route. I've got no weeping here. I've got clearance on the fan belt here. And look, no leaks. Isn't that marvellous? So another fix on the TA14.